Good morning, YouTube. Welcome back to our channel. So I wanted to talk to you guys, give you guys a little story of what happened to us last weekend. So myself, Mrs. Chubbs, baby Chubbs, and Mrs. Chubbs' mom all decided we were going to go yard sailing. The day was running quick. We weren't really finding anything. Then we stumbled across an estate sale. We go into this house, and you can just tell that it was owned by older people just by the decorations they had hanging up and just the way that the house looked in general. They didn't really have much of anything. Very few things were left. I think a lot of the people that came there earlier and bought a lot of their stuff. So Mrs. Chubbs and Grandma Chubbs are upstairs looking around, and I have baby Chubbs in my arm, and I'm carrying her around, and we go down into the basement, and this guy's like, trying to sell me everything he possibly could. He's like, oh, tell your dad you want this, tell your dad you want that, So I automatically knew that he was the owner. Guy was probably in his mid to late 60s. So he walks over to Reagan, and I noticed that he was looking at us, and I didn't say nothing, and he kept staring and staring and staring. He walks over and he goes, oh, what's his name? Now, mind you, she was dressed in girly, like frilly clothing. Clearly, you could tell it was a little girl. And I said, her name is Reagan. He goes, oh, it's a girl? I said, yeah, it's a girl. And he goes, oh, okay. So he proceeds to walk over to us, and he starts like tickling my daughter and whatever. He's an older guy. I didn't think nothing of it. And he said, you're so cute. And I looked at her, I looked at him, and I looked at my daughter, and I said, Reagan, I said, tell him thank you. I said, tell him thank you. And I looked at him, I said, thank you, sir, I appreciate that. Yeah, she is pretty cute. And he then proceeds to look at her again, and he goes, hey, tell your dad that when you get older, not to get tattooed, because you don't want to look like a tattooed criminal. Yeah. He didn't say it once, he said it twice. He said, because you don't want to grow up to get tattoos and look like a criminal. Now, here's my thing behind the whole deal that took place. Well, let me just finish my story, then I'll get into it. So I automatically just looked at him, and I wasn't going to make a big scene because, I am with my daughter. Typically, if my daughter wouldn't have been there, I probably would have came unglued and said some choice words to the guy and then left. But I looked at him and I said, all right, sir. I said, well, you have a good day. Whatever. Just have a good day. So me and my daughter walk upstairs, and I had a plaque that I was going to buy from him. And it was like just a funny little plaque that you hang on your wall. I forget what it even said now. But I slammed it down on the table by Mrs. Chubbs and Grandma Chubbs. And I said, come on, we're leaving now. And she said, okay. She knew something happened. So we go to leave, and I waited till we got about, 5 minutes down the road. And Mrs. Chubbs is like, what's wrong? What happened in there? And I proceeded to tell her what happened. And her mom's in the back seat, and her mom flipped out. I wish you would have said something, because I would have told him off. I would have told him da. That's why I waited a few minutes down the road, because Mrs. Chubbs' mom's got a temper too. And so does Mrs. Chubbs. So, it's just crazy to me that in the year 2018, people are still judging other people by their appearance and the way they look and their tattoos and whatever else they have going on with their body. It wouldn't have bothered me, I don't think, that much if I would have been by myself, but it's the fact of the matter that my daughter was with me, and I'm sure a lot of you are going to be like, well, Chris, she's only 13 months old, she don't know what was going on or what was said. But it still offended me that he would say something like that in front of my daughter. He has no clue of what kind of person I am or who I am as a person. Some of you may know that, as of right now, I'm doing construction work, but before that, I worked with mentally disabled, and I took care of them for many, many years. And I am just a kind-hearted, loving, gentle guy. Don't cross me. That's a different beast that comes out. But the majority of the time, I'm just a sweet, down-to-earth, caring, big old teddy bear is basically what I would consider myself. And this guy had no clue who I was. He automatically assumed, because, I'm covered in tattoos, because I had a tank top on, he could see most of them, that, I'm some tattooed criminal. And it blows my mind that in 2018, there's still people out there that are like that. I would have thought by now tattoos are more acceptable. You see them on everybody, everywhere. All different lifestyles. You see lawyers with tattoos, doctors with tattoos, law enforcement with tattoos. I mean, you see everybody with tattoos nowadays, but that guy clearly just, for whatever reason, he felt the need to just tell me basically that I look like a criminal. But anyways, guys, it is raining pretty good, and I am currently driving home from work. I do have some videos that I would like to try to record this weekend, so be on the lookout for those. I know Mrs. Chubbs has been putting up some videos. Yeah, so with that being said, it's game over for Mr. Chubbs. I love you guys, and I will see you this weekend sometime. Maybe I'll go live. I don't know.